good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? We are on the doorsteps of another week that the Lord has made. Come on in, come on in. You're welcome to sit down at the dinner table with your brother Tony. Come on in, come on in. I miss you, brothers and sisters, these last few days. So it's dinner time. So come in and enjoy some of this good food for the soul. Go ahead and invite some more family members and friends. And not only that, make sure that you leave room for guests. We may have some guests that pop in at the dinner table. So leave a little scoot down room so they can sit down and enjoy this particular broadcast, okay? If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships basically from a spiritual point of view. When I say spiritual, I believe in the relationship that God started with himself and Adam, with himself and Eve. He represented the woman Adam to the man Eve after he had taken out a rib, and he represented the woman to the man. And when he represented the woman to the man in the presence of God, the man Adam said, "Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman because she came from man." That's the position that I come from. Position of God created man. God created woman. God brought the woman to the man. So that's the position I come from. Now, if you have another position when it comes to relationship, you have what's called free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But if you sit here at the dinner table, I talk about the relationship from a biblical point of view between that of Adam and Eve. I would like for you all to know that I'm on two different broadcasts. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you that are on the tube, I may make some comments to those on the book. You may not see their names or the comment that they make, but I will call their name and comment every now and then. And those of you that are on the book, I may make a mention to those that are on the tube. I may see call out their name or their comment, but just keep in mind, we're all family here. So just keep that in mind. And by all means, my brother and sister, you can ask questions or make comments at the dinner table, but be very, very respectful. With that said, we're going to look at the menu for tonight. But before we look at the menu tonight, go ahead, my brother and sister, and remember to go ahead and invite some more family member friends. How you doing, mother? I see that you're at the dinner table. I hope that you had a good day. Now, come on in, the rest of you brothers and sisters. When you look at the menu, on the menu for tonight, what normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life with an outside man or woman? Again, what normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life with an outside man or woman? My brothers and sisters, listen to me carefully. If you are in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, the question, should you share intimate parts of your life with a member of the opposite sex, excluding your relatives? That's the only section that we are excluding your relatives. So at the dinner table tonight, again, what normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life with an outside man or woman? When I say an outside man or woman, I'm talking about this. You're in a relationship, a serious and committed relationship, but you had this close, what appears to be a close connection to a man or woman. So, brother, I'm talking about you have what appear to be a close connection to another woman besides the one that you're in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, and vice versa. You, brother, are you in a relationship what appear to be more intimate, so to say, than you and your mate that you're currently in a relationship with? Now, let's define what intimate means. When we look in the dictionary, intimate clearly is stated as and defined as private and personal. It's private and it's personal, a very close friend having or being likely to call very close friendship or personal or sexual relationship. So that's what intimate means. Now, if you, brother, or if you, sister, are betrothed, which means engaged to a man or a woman, or if you're in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, marriage, this message is directly straight to you. So you brothers and sisters that are betrothed, meaning you're engaged, that means, brother, you have proposed to a woman, you have given this woman a ring, a wedding date is set, it's not open. Sister, you agreed to it, so you got a date. It's not no blind thing, because a lot of men will give a woman a ring, get down on their knees and all that stuff, and give a woman a ring, and she be overjoyed, give her a ring, and don't have no date. You're not serious. Just because a man give a woman an engagement ring without a date, you're not serious. Because any man that gives a woman an engagement ring, you supposed to show leadership. So a leader's supposed to have a plan. That's poor planning when a man get on his knees or however he does it, give a woman an engagement ring, and you don't have a wedding date. Now you leaving this woman with pie on her face, her friends, her family asking her, when she going to get married? And to save face, she got to turn around and say, I got to talk to him about, we got to get together on that. We ain't got that together. What kind of foolishness is that? So, brother, if you man enough, and if you're a leader, you're supposed to have a plan, because the woman's supposed to follow you. That's the indication when any man sets out to be engaged with a woman, that gives that woman good indication, something about his leadership in the future, because you don't have a plan. You're supposed to have a whole plan. And I can see that you can modify a wedding date or something like that, or you move towards the marriage part. So I'm talking directly to you, brothers and sisters. Now, after God, brothers, after God, sister, you should not, listen to me carefully, I'm going to say this 2 times. After God, brother, after God, sister, if you're in a serious committed covenant relationship, meaning you're in engagement phase or you already married, you should not, you should not, you should not, you should not, I sound like a broken record, right? You should not have a person. Brother, that means another woman. Sister, that means another man that you view or call as your best friend other than your mate. This is where a lot of men and women drop the ball. Brother, you don't have no best friend other than Jesus before that woman. If you're engaged to a woman, move towards getting married, or you already married, you don't have no best friend other than Jesus before that woman. Any man that claims that another man, and especially a woman, is his best friend, I don't care whether you grew up with them when they were small or whatever, I don't care. You giving her a sign or something. Because you have to have a wisdom to know that once you get married, engaged to a woman, no relationship surpass her but God, so in Jesus. And vice versa, sister, you got to understand, no relationship that you had in the past supposed to surpass or be peddled before that man other than Jesus himself. And that's why a lot of men and women, they drop the ball because they don't understand priority. How you doing, Brother Murphy? They don't work to the dinner table. They don't understand priority. So after God, again, my brother, after God, my sister, you should not have a person, a human. We're not talking about Jesus now. You should not have a man or woman, if you in a one-on-one relationship with a man or woman, that you view as your best friend other than your mate. Now, the intimate details of your life, for example, these are the intimate details of your life, your deepest hopes, your deepest dreams, your deepest disappointments, especially your problems that you have with your mate, should not under any circumstance be shared with a member of the opposite sex. We're not talking about your family now. We're talking about another man, sister, or another woman, brother. Should not be shared with a member of the opposite sex, because what you're doing, you're setting yourself up for more problems beyond your problem that you're already dealing with so far with your mate. and it will get worse. Now, let me expound this to you, my brother. Let me expound this to you, my sister. When I say expound, I'm talking about open you up to something. I'm not going to explain it, but I'm going to expound you to something. Ask yourself these few questions, my brother and sister. Ask yourself these two critical questions. When it comes to a man or woman other than your mate, number one, are you, brother, are you, sister, talking to a man, sister, or a woman, brother, that you have opened your heart up to, that knows more, that knows more, that knows more? Yes, I'm a broken record tonight. That knows more about your deepest hopes, your dreams, your disappointment and problem. With that, you have revealed that to this other man or this other woman, the real you that your mate doesn't know about. That's one question. The other question is, do you, brother, or do you, sister, look forward to sending text messages? Good morning, good morning. How you doing during the evening time? You have how you doing so far today? Did you have a good day at work? Good night. I hope that you have sweet dreams. My brothers and sisters, do you look forward to sending and receiving text message and or emails? Do you look forward to calling or receiving calls? Do you, or are you waiting to go out on a date or dates? Do you or do you not talk frequently? And another thing, are you or are you not having sex more with that other man or that other woman than your mate? Now, if you see yourself in this scenario, my brother, if you see yourself in this scenario, my sister, I'm talking to you tonight. I'm talking to you. Now, how does it start? Remember on the menu for tonight, what we're talking about, what normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life with an outside man, sister, or an outside woman, brother. What normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life? You share more of your intimate parts of your life with an outsider than a man, or with an outsider, my brother, or outside of my sister. You sharing more of yourself with this other man or woman. This should not never be. You know why it should not never be? Because you're setting yourself up for the okie-doke. And what do I mean by the okie-doke? You're setting yourself up, my brother, and you're setting yourself up, my sister, for tragedy, heartbreak, disappointment. Now, how does this all start? How did you, brother, or how did you, sister, or how does it start for you, brother, sister, that haven't gotten to the point yet? How does it start? By you sharing intimate parts of your life with an outsider. It always starts with a conversation. That's how it all starts. When you sharing your personal information, my brother, with another woman, other than the woman that you claim to love, and same sister, the man that you claim to love, if you sharing all the deep parts of your being with another man or another woman, it all starts with a conversation. It starts with something that you don't see. It probably starts with something that man or woman doesn't see. When, brother, if you are in a betrothed position, engaged or married, sister, if you are in a betrothed position, engaged or married, let me tell you what's going on, what you might not be aware of. And I always allure to this. There is a world that you don't see. And what is this world? It's a spiritual world that you do not see. The spiritual world actually runs the physical world. You have God on one side, and the angelic beings, and then you have Satan and the angelic being or demons. That causes a whole bunch of conflict. Satan is continually trying to overtake God, but God got everything in control. So listen to me carefully, my brother, and listen to me carefully, my sister. When you decide to have a heart, expose your heart to another man or another woman. How you doing, Jessica? Welcome to the dinner table. When you, brother, or when you, sister, decide to open up your heart, especially during the time when you're having problem with your mate, you are in a dangerous position. And normally, the man, sister that you're talking to, and brother, normally the woman that you're talking to, these type of people aren't counselors. They're not counselors. And when I say counselor, let me make it very clear. Brother and sister, if you are in a relationship that God validate, if you, brother, and you, sister, can't get it together with your mate, you are not, again, you are not to discuss it with anyone beyond the Lord himself or Jesus or a mediator that have a godly background. Don't take your difficulty to a secular counselor. You understand? A lot of you brothers and sisters, when you have problems, I already have told you in some of my other dinner meetings, don't share a lot of stuff with your family. Don't share a lot of stuff with your friends, your co-workers, and social media, and so on and so forth. I always tell you that. But we're talking now, my brothers and sisters. We're not even including the family member in what we're talking about. We're talking about, brother, we're not even talking about your guy friends. Sister, we're not even talking about your girlfriend. We're talking about a member of the opposite sex. It starts with a conversation. And as I stated, everything is controlled by the spiritual world. Okay. Now, brother and sister, when you have problems, you are vulnerable at that time with your mate. Your mate is vulnerable with you, and you are vulnerable with your mate. Now, guess who know about this? God knew it. God knew that you were going to have bump head with this person before y'all got to this point. But it's a surprise to Satan. But Satan been studying you, brother. And Satan been studying you, sister. So Satan set up what appears to be innocent. Brother, he sets up a woman that appears that she want to listen to what you got to say. Sister, Satan set up a man that appeared to want to hear what you got to say. You, brother, you are about to talk to a she-wolf. Brother, that's what you're about to do. Sister, you're about to talk to a wolf. Both the man and the woman come in sheep clothing. They may appear to be nice. They may appear to be concerned and everything, but those are not the people you talk to when you have problems in your relationship. So let me read something. Let me tell you, let me prove to you where things go wrong when you're in a relationship. Let's go back, way back to the beginning of time. We're going to go to an event that happened with Adam and Eve. Right now, Eve is the main person we're going to look at and what she did. As it is written in the book of Genesis 1-6, it states clearly, it said, now the serpent was more craftier than any of the wild animals that the Lord God has made. He said to the woman, that woman being Eve, did God really say, you must not eat from the tree in the garden? The woman said, now, Satan used a serpent to communicate with Eve. He entered into a serpent because he needed a body. So there were no other humans around. So he selected a serpent and he entered into the serpent, and Satan used the serpent mouth to start talking to Eve. Eve's fatal thing was she started dialoguing with a snake. And not only that, at that particular time, Eve did not have no problem. She did not have no problem with God. She had a relationship with God. She had a relationship with her husband. So she was in a good relationship. And not only do men and women mess up sometimes when they in a bad relationship, but some men and women, they carry on conversation with people when they're in a good relationship, which Eve did this, and she was in a good relationship with God and Adam. Now, what did Eve do? She started having a conversation. This is where everything goes down. She started having a conversation. That's a key thing when things start going wrong. Now, it said, he said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from the tree in the garden? The woman said to the serpent, we may eat fruit from the tree in the garden, but God said you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die. The serpent responded. He got Eve comfortable. He got a real comfortable with dialogue. He was, as Sade would say, he was a smooth operator, and he is still a smooth operator today. Satan said, you will not certainly die. You see, God said you will. Satan put one word in there, said you won't. And the serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good from evil. Now, the conversation have taken place. And when the conversation took place, what did Eve start doing? She started pondering the conversation. And when she started pondering the conversation, this is what happened. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eyes, and also desirable for gain and wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Have you wondered right now, my brother? Have you wondered right now, my sister, why did I go all the way back to the Garden of Eden? I went back to show you, my brother and my sister, where when most things go wrong in a relationship, it always starts with a conversation. You get comfortable talking to somebody, the wrong person, brother, the wrong woman, brother, and sister, you got comfortable talking to the wrong man. So what happens? Let me tell you, my brother and sister, when you listen to me, don't hear me. If you are engaged, brother, if you are engaged, sister, if you are married, brother, if you are married, sister, you are not to have an intimate conversation with a man or woman of the opposite sex. You are going beyond your boundaries. You only have intimate conversation with God. And if you're if God brought a woman to you, brother and sister, if God put you in the presence of a man, that's the person that you share your intimate thoughts and feelings with, besides God himself. Sister Jessica, she identified exactly what I said, because she said, I know you're right. Been there, done that. It's a myth. So Sister Weaver know exactly what I'm talking about. It's true, my brother and sister. You setting yourself up. Brother, she might seem like if you having a problem with your woman, brother, you may not think she listened to you or she talked to you like you're a little boy. She might do. But when you go into another woman and you telling this other woman that, don't you know that woman got a Rolodex in her mind and she's listening to what you say, because she's going to, more than likely, she's going to take advantage of it down the road. She's going to get something out of it. And some of you sisters, listen up. When you open it up to a man, another man, and you telling him what your man used to do, what he is doing now, he's listening to. So he's processing that in his database, his computer mind, so he could more than likely use it to his advantage later on. Most of the women that you're going to talk to, brother, other than your woman, are not, how should I say it? They are not godly counsel that does this for a living. You listen to what I'm saying? They are not godly counsel that you know about and your mate know about collectively. They're not in the middle trying to help you, my brother and sister, to repair your relationship. You understand, brother? Sister, he's not in a position to be a godly counselor, because more than likely, my brother, listen, more than likely, the woman that's in your life, more than likely she doesn't know too much about this woman that you're talking to. You understand? Sister, more than likely, the man that you're supposed to have a relationship with, more than likely, he doesn't know about this other man that you're talking to. So what happens? Let's talk. Let's talk. You start having the conversation. They go for the man and the woman. You start having the conversation. So you start having the conversation, and it appears like everything is going great, right? You wondering, brother, and you wondering, sister, why you and this person are having a conversation. You're wondering how you doing, Sister Flo. Welcome to the dinner table. You're wondering, brother, this woman, she really listening to me. She really listening to me. She don't talk to me disrespectful. She respect me. And then some of you sisters, you saying, this man, he can really identify with how I feel. He's a good listener. So he understands, I feel. You see, the man be saying, I think it seems like this woman is listening to me. A woman would say, I feel that he's feeling where I'm coming from. So you getting comfortable, brother, with this other woman. Sister, you getting comfortable with this other man. And so what happened? You probably met in person. It probably somebody that you know. Or it could be somebody that you just meet at the store or whatever. But the thing is, you start having a conversation. So with the conversation, you start lowering your protection shields. And you forgot, brother, and you forgot, sister, brother, your name is not Clark Kent. And sister, you're not Supergirl, okay? Brother, you do not have an S on your chest, which stands for Superman. Sister, you don't have an S on your chest that stands for Supergirl. As we know, brothers, and as we know, sister, when it comes to Superman and Supergirl, what is the Achilles heel, or what is the weakness? The weakness is called kryptonite. They strong, but when you introduce kryptonite, they become weak. So, brother, and so, sister, the kryptonite is when you start opening up to that man or woman. You start getting weaker, and you don't recognize it. You think you're strong, but at that particular time, brother, and at that particular time, sister, you are vulnerable, and you don't know it. You don't know it. So you sharing everything, and that man or woman, they listening to you, especially a skilled man or a skilled woman, he or she listening to you. But payday is coming. How you doing, Sister Sheila? Welcome to the dinner table. Payday is coming. They're going to get paid for listening to you. You see, you may go to a counselor and pay them cash. But these men and women that want to be your so-called counselor, you're going to pay them with something. And more than likely, it's not going to be cash. It's going to be something that's going to cost you. But you're going to the wrong person. This will happen. You get comfortable with the person. So you start having conversations over the telephone. Whereas your mate doesn't know anything that's going on. Possibly doesn't know. Because more than likely, you're not going to talk to that person on the phone while your mate is not around. You're going to try to find a way to talk to that man or woman. You're welcome, Sister Sheila. Welcome to the dinner table. You don't. You texting that man or woman, and more than likely, the mate that you're in a serious committed relationship doesn't know that this texting going on. They may suspect it, They may be sending you emails. Another thing that your mate does not know about, you all start going to lunch and stuff together. You have dinner together. You start working out together, the gym. You start walking in the park together. I'm just giving you some basic scenario. What happens after the conversation? So it may get to the point, brother or sister, that that man and woman may start having a little feeling for you too, but it's the wrong type of feeling because you don't supposed to have an intimate relationship with no one else other than the Lord and your mate. But now you're opening up your heart to this man or woman. Let me tell you what you're opening up to that man or woman. You're opening up your soul and your body and everything else that follow your body. Your soul, my brother, and your soul, my sister, is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So your soul, your mind, your will, and emotion, you open up to this person. You open up so much and give this person so much of your being that he or she knows you. And what happens? You more than likely, brother, you more than likely, sister, get into the wrong type of soul tie. You get that feeling that you're connected. You become emotionally connected to the wrong man, sister, and the wrong woman, brother. You get that, you get a wrong soul tie. You start thinking, brother, and you start feeling, sister, that you're more closer to that man, sister, or brother, that woman, than your mate. You think that he or she understands you more, but you don't understand you at the kryptonite stage. You're weak, you're vulnerable, but you think you're strong. Just because you an adult, you think you can handle it, right? You really think you can handle this thing. Most men and women that get into a situation like this, they go through this procedure that I'm talking about. There's nothing new under the sun that I'm talking about, my brother. There's nothing new under the sun, my sister, that I'm talking about. So you start sharing, you start spending time together, right? What's going to eventually happen? Either sooner or later, I have said it before, sooner or later, you all, brother, you're going to get isolated with that woman. Yes, you are, brother. I'm talking to you, Christian brother. You going to get isolated with this woman. And I'm talking to you, Christian sister. You going to get isolated with that man. But before you get isolated with that person, you have knitted a wrong soul tie with this man or woman. So you are emotionally connected to this man or woman now. You familiar with this man or woman. You so familiar, you are comfortable with that man or woman. You all be laughing together. You all be touching each other. You all be hugging each other. And I'm not talking about that church hug, where it's a lot of air between. No, y'all had real close hugs, right? So let me tell you what's gonna start happening in your mind. This go for you brothers and you sisters. Listen to it. We'll talk about your soul, but after your soul, you have what is called your body. Brother, for you to be with that woman, that means that you have a desire for a woman. Sister, for you to be with that man, that means that you have a desire for the man. Your desire didn't go nowhere. So your desire, brother, going to start transferring towards that woman, the other woman. And sister, your desire, your physical desire, going to start transferring to that other man. So you're going to start thinking, brother and sister, you're going to start thinking about physical intimacy with that man or woman. After you get emotional soul tied with that man or woman, you're going to start thinking physical. Sister Sheila said, how do you not get into a situation like that? This is you right, sister Sheila. And this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna start thinking physical thoughts about that man or woman. You may not verbally say it, but it's going to happen. You know why? Because, brother, you are a man that have a desire. So you know why it's going to happen? Because you are a woman and you have a desire. And you're getting closer and closer to that man or woman anyway, emotionally. So your soul is getting knitted together. This is what your soul doing. Your mind, your will, and your emotion is getting together, right? Now you see, I got a little room in there, right? And what's going to consummate this is when you all have physical intimacy. So when you have physical intimacy, it's going to be like that. So you, brother, you are one with this other woman besides the woman at home. Sister, you are one with this other man. When you do this, my brother, and when you do this, my sister, you have already thought about it anyway. You have thought about it. It didn't just happen. Things like that just doesn't happen. Let's talk about it, my brother, sister. When you get physical, intimate with someone, it doesn't just happen. You put yourself in a position for it to happen. If you did not put yourself in a position for it to happen, it would not happen. But you got isolated. And when you got isolated, what you did not see, brother, and what you did not see, sister, is that invisible world influencing you. You see, you think it's all you, right, brother? And you think it's all you, sister. But now this is where Satan kick in. He may make a personal appearance himself. You don't see him. Or he got his demons to influence you. They going to, while you there isolated, they going to influence your mind. And you don't, you think it's your thinking, right, brother? You think it's your thinking, sister. Though a demon, they're going to be putting subplot thoughts into your mind. Then you introduce music. Don't you know, brother, sister, that you know why Satan was able to influence a third of the angels up in heaven against God? You know how he was able to do it? What Satan was known for, his name used to be Lucifer, right? He was the minister of music. If you don't know this now, brother, or you don't know this now, sister, let me tell you something. Music does influence people. Most men and women, you don't have to admit it or not, but you have idolized a singer before in your younger days. It's a singer that you idolize or a group that you idolize. Why? You like the music. Especially when they have sensual music, right? You like it. What you don't know is you were being programmed and influenced. Some stuff that you were looking at TV, you were being programmed and influenced. All this stuff is happening to you and you don't realize it. You thought just because the S was on your chest, brother, Superman, and sister, you thought since you that S on your chest, Supergirl, but now you're in an environment of kryptonite. Sister Walker said, excuse me, I understand going to try to stay out of the fire. Amen, sister. So you isolate, you introduce music, and you introduce alcohol. You could introduce music and alcohol when y'all out to dinner before you get to the isolated place, or you could do it when you get to a place. Now, let me tell you this. Some of you brothers, you want to, if you don't go to her house or her apartment, wherever she stay, you go to a room. You are setting up the situation. She know what the room means. You know what the room means. You're trying to play naive that nothing is not going to happen. You're trying to play naive, but you're setting up the situation for it to happen. And likewise, sister, you go to a room or you go to his house and You try to be naive and act like nothing not going to happen. Now you introduce other things, and when, especially when you introducing music and you introducing alcohol. What does alcohol do? It You already in a kryptonite situation anyway. It's going to make you weaker. Whereas you feel a little on the fence, it's going to push you more to the left. And more than likely, it's going to go down. You're going to have a physical relationship with that man or woman. At first, you may start feeling guilty while you're there. Something going to be telling you, don't do it. Initially, something might be telling you, don't do it. But you see, you put yourself in that situation. You were being told not to do it before you got to that situation, but you ignored it. You turned the radio in your mind up to a high frequency so you wouldn't hear the Spirit of God talking to you. So you put yourself in that situation. Now Satan or his demons working on you, and they put things in your mind that you don't understand. You think it's your thoughts, but it's not your thoughts. You're being influenced by Satan. And Satan doing like this, or one of his demons is Satan somewhere else, they doing like this. They've been studying you. Now you are having physical intimacy with that person. You know what's gonna happen? Now you become one. Yes, brother, you're one with the woman that you left. Yes, sister, you're a woman with that man that you left. But now you one with someone else. So, brother, if you engage, or well, better yet, if you marry, brother, you having physical intimacy or sex with the other woman, you are one now with that other woman. So you're one with your wife and you're one with this other woman, emotionally and bodily. So to the same thing, you may have your husband at home, one. Now you are emotionally and physically bonded to that man. You feel a little guilt, right? You feel guilty, but you feel good at the same time, right? You may have a sense of regret. You may ask God to forgive you. But more than likely, not all the time, you're going to do it again. And the more you do it, your conscience is going to be seared. It's going to get to the point where you don't feel guilty no more. You're going to try to justify why you're doing what you're doing. And then get to the point where it just don't bother you no more. Initially, it's going to bother you. You will go home, you will see your mate, and you know in your mind you did your mate wrong. You go and get in the shower, you're feeling guilty, and you take another bath or whatever, and you're trying to wash it, you're trying to cleanse your mind, but you wash your body. It's not your body now, it's your mind. Because you decided to share intimate parts of your life with the wrong man and the wrong woman. Now you get to the point where it's dangerous. You could get to the point now where you start losing intimate thoughts and emotion towards your real mate. And you start transferring it to this other person, whereas you look forward to getting those texts in the morning. You look forward to getting those calls off and on during the day. You look forward to meeting that man or woman for dinner. I mean, lunch, dinner, going out on dates and all that kind of stuff. You start looking forward for it. To the point where some of you want to leave your current situation and you want to hook up with that other man or woman. But let me tell you what normally happens if you decide to leave your current situation, and if that man know about your current situation, or or brother, that woman know about your current situation, if you decide to abandon ship where you at, that man and woman, they already know that they had a relationship with you. Now you leaving your mate. Now you think y'all gonna have a successful relationship. You're not gonna have no successful relationship. Let me tell you now, you're not gonna have no successful relationship. When you bail out on your husband and wife, I've seen it so many times happening where you want to leave your husband, you leave your wife, with someone that already knew your current situation, then you hook up with them, and you think that you isolated, that nothing won't like that won't happen. You're gonna have a problem with that man or woman, and guess what's gonna happen? He or she gonna be seeing someone else. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's called sowing and reaping. It's got to happen. Or you gonna start seeing someone else, or you're gonna try to be faithful to this other man or woman, and they're gonna be dogging you out. And then you're gonna want to talk to other people, and you want to tell other people how that man or woman doing you, but what you did not take into account, you planted a seed a while back. When you start seeing that man or woman, you planted the seed, so you got to reap the harvest for sharing intimate parts of your life with that other man or that other woman. You will not be successful. You could even have a big church wedding. You can go to Vegas. You can go anywhere, on the beach, wherever you get married. It looks good in front of people. It looks good in front of your family. It looks good in front of your friend. But you must and you will reap what you sow. You're going to reap more than what you sowed. When you plant a seed, if you plant an apple seed and the tree grows, you're going to have apples grow. From one tree, from one seed, you're going to have this tree, and they're going to produce apples. And inside those apples going to be what? Seeds. So the one seed that you plant, it's going to grow and manifest itself, and you're going to get fruits. And then those fruit is going to be the original seed from the original seed that got planted in the ground. So she'll say, karma is real. And my mother said, yeah, so true. So I'm telling you, my brother, and I'm telling you, my sister, God is not mocked. Listen to what I'm saying. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, he reaps. You can go to God, my brother. You can go to God, my sister, and say, I'm sorry for doing wrong. God will forgive you. Listen to this. This is what a lot of men and women don't understand. God will forgive you, but he's not going to alleviate the consequences. You see, a lot of time when men and women run to God and say, I'm sorry, what you think you're doing, you're trying to outsmart God. You going to God because you trying to block the consequence. You do wrong, and then you go run to God and say, God, I'm sorry for this. I ain't gonna do it no more. And you don't want no consequence to happen, right? This go for me too. You don't want no but it's going to happen. If you sow to the flesh, you're going to get the flesh, which is death. If you sow to the spirit, you're going to get life and peace with it. So you, brother, and you, sister, you made a choice. You made a choice. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. How you doing, Sister Shanika? You made a choice, brother. You made a choice, sister, when you decide to share intimate moments of your life with a man that is not your mate or a woman that's not your mate. More than likely, you have told him or her everything about your mate. And you're going to get emotionally tied to him. I'm telling you, you're going to get emotionally tied to the man or woman. You're going to look forward to contacting them. You're going to look forward to seeing that man or woman. That's going to be the bright part of your day. You will anticipate seeing that man or woman. And you're going to anticipate having sex with that man or woman. You're going to have sex with them. I know some of you saying, ain't no having me. Yes, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to go all the way. Because you got kryptonite. You got kryptonite. You were playing with the kryptonite, and you find out that you were not Superman or Superwoman, or neither one of those other Marvel or DC characters. You reap more than what you sow. Boomerang. You throw a boomerang out there. What does a boomerang do? It comes back to you. That's how it is. The reaping, sowing, the karma, it comes back, my brother. So it may not come back now. It may not come back soon, but it's going to come back down the road. I'm going to give you a situation. A lot of you know about this. Some of you have heard me talk about this before. King David. King David, known to be a man after God's own heart. You all know David, the giant killer. He killed Goliath. David did a whole bunch of good things. David was the king of Israel. The kings, when it used to be like springtime, they would go out and fight with their troop. This one particular day, David did not go out. He was in the castle chilling. David got up. When David got up, he wasn't thinking about, oh, I'm going to commit adultery today. Let me see who I can commit adultery with today. He wasn't doing it. David was supposed to be handling his business. Okay? David went up on the top of his castle, and Bathsheba, she was taking a bath, so David seen her taking a bath. He was watching Bathsheba. Bathsheba was taking a bath. When David looked at Bathsheba, that craving hit him. It hit him. He had Bathsheba come over. He inquired about her, so she came over. David and Bathsheba slept together. Bathsheba got pregnant. She sent word to David. David tried to cover it up. Her husband, Uriah the Hittite, was out there fighting on behalf of David. David wanted to cover it up. He had Uriah to come, and he thought that Uriah was going to go home and sleep with Bathsheba. He didn't. He stayed at the king's door. So David had a problem. He could not cover it up. So, because Uriah didn't do, because see, David had planned how this was going to work out, but it didn't work. So David wrote a message, gave it to Uriah, and told him to give it to the captain of the army. So he gave it to him. And on that sheet of paper, it said, put Uriah at the front part of the battle. And when you put him at the front part of the battle, withdraw. Everybody withdraw. So David killed the man. David may not have been the one that had the arrow or the spear, but David set the man up to get killed. David's conscience was seared. The baby died. The baby was real sick. The Bible basically said that God slew the baby. So the baby died, and David married Bathsheba. They had another song, which we know about Solomon, but that's another story. But David's conscience was seared. What do I mean by that? He did not tell God he was sorry. So Nathan the prophet came and told David a story. He said, and I'm just paraphrasing it, he said, there was this one rich man, he had a whole lot of sheep. And there was this one man that had one sheep that he loved. He said the man that had a whole lot of sheep took that one sheep that the man loved. And then Nathan said, what you think should happen to the man? David seen the injustice of it. He said that that man need to die. And then the prophet told David, you the man, you took Bathsheba, and you already got all the other wives, and you took Bathsheba and you had Uriah killed. David said, I have sinned against God. That's when he recognized I have sinned against God. And you know what Nathan told him? He said, you know what, David? And this was a lot of, I need to understand this. You need to understand it, brother. You need to understand it, sister. David say, I sinned against the Lord. And then Nathan said, David, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. God has forgiven you. Check this out. God has forgiven you. However, there's going to be a sword in your house. Everything that David did, it happened to him. Everything that he did, it happened to him. More than one, on a larger level. Remember, David slept with Bathsheba, right? David's oldest son, Absalom, slept with David's concubines on the roof. Everybody knew about it because see what David did in secret, God was gonna make sure everybody knew about it. So David's son Absalom, the one that he really loved, he slept with some of David concubine or wife, whatever you want to call them. Everybody knew about it. It was on the news. If you look at, if CNN were back there during that time, you will find out Absalom sleeping with all of David's wives. David had a son that raped his half sister. David had a son that killed the son. David's son, that sister got raped, killed the stepbrother that raped her. I'm sorry, I had to get that person out the way on the phone. But anyway, my point is, listen to this. David was called a man after God's own heart. God forgave him, but David had consequences that he had to do. When I sin, brother and sister, I got consequences that I have to pay, and whatever I do, I got to give account. God will forgive me, but I got to reap the harvest. If you sin, brother, if you sin, sister, God will forgive you, but you got to reap the harvest. So as of today, my brother, and as of today, my sister, just think about this. Don't think God gonna wipe your consequences away. God is not gonna do it. It's got to happen. It's gonna go down on you. So if you big enough to do it, brother, if you big enough to do it, sister, no matter what, you big enough for the consequences. And I'm talking to myself too. I'm big enough for the consequences. So in short, my brother, in short, my sister, what normally happens when you share intimate parts of your life with an outside man or outside woman, it normally goes wrong because you don't supposed to do it. The only time you share intimate parts of your life with someone else is that man or woman that you are betrothed to, or in other words, engaged, or you married. And I have told you this, my brother and sister, several times. God only recognizes a relationship between a man and woman as being betrothed, or in other words, engaged or married. If you're not engaged, God don't recognize your relationship as far as something positive. If you have a relationship, brother, with a woman and you're not even engaged to her, with a date, and you haven't advanced towards the marriage, or you're not married, or sister, vice versa, the same thing apply to you. If you're not engaged, moving toward getting married or married, God look at your relationship, and did go for me too. If I was not married, God don't look at my relationship how a man and woman look at my relationship. If I was not married, and I took a woman around my mother, my sister, my siblings, and my children, or whatever, they might like the lady. If I was not married to Cinderella right there, they might like the lady. My friends may like the lady. If I go to worship service, they'll be like, that ain't right, Tony. But then some of them might like the lady. So, am I happy because my family like this other lady? Am I happy because my friend accept her and my other family member and other people? Or should I be more concerned with God think about it? Now, if I was not engaged to a woman, and if I was not married to a woman, God looked at it like, you need to do something. You need to either get engaged to this woman with engaged with a date and marry her, or marry. Because I told you this several times, my brother and sister. When most men and women get together and they call themselves in a relationship, you better believe they having sex. Most men and women, I have said it before, most men and women that have gotten married, even Christian men and women that got married, majority of them have had sex before they said I do. If a man and woman is not married and they have sex, God called it fornication. A man and woman might say, we made love to each other. You didn't make love, you made fornication with each other. That's what you did. That's what I used to do. I used to make a lot of fornication because I was not married. So if I had sex with a woman and I was not married to her, I was fornicating. I was not making love to her. She was not making love to me. We were both fornicating. And while we were fornicating, God was looking at us fornicate. Even though we could have been at her house, my house, or whatever, or a hotel, or wherever we decided to have the fornication activity, it was just supposed to be she knew and I knew because we were isolated. So we had fornication. But God didn't look at it as we were making love and stuff. God looked at it, I was sinning. That's how God look at it, I was sinning. Now other people say, man, that ain't no big thing. We expect for you to have sex with the woman. We expect that. That's what men do. That's what women do. Ain't no big thing telling them to go have some sex with a woman that you ain't married to. Ain't no big thing. Get over it, dog. You the man, dog. How was it? But anyway, let me tell you this, my brother and sister. Don't share intimate parts of your life with an outside man and woman. More than likely, it will not go right. If you're going to share information with a man or woman, this is who you share it with. If you're married, if you're engaged with a date, plan on getting married, you have some problem, you need to go talk to a third party, man or woman, that is godly, a godly counselor. Now, I know some counselors, they ain't no like what I'm saying because they went to school and got their master's and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them don't have wisdom. They have book knowledge. They have a degree from a college. But they're not going to tell you what I'm telling you as far as God look at it. So, brother, if you're a Christian, sister, you're a Christian, you need godly counsel. You don't need secular counsel. Let the secular people go to the secular counselor. You go to a godly counsel, sister and brother, when you have a difficulty. After you try to, if you can't sell it yourself, you have to pray to God and ask God to help you with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment, so you can try to resolve it. If you can't resolve it, that's when you can bring somebody else in to help you with counseling. Don't go to your family. Don't go to your friend. Why you don't go to your family friend? Because most of their relationship jacked up. Don't go to them. And most of your family member friends, they're not Christian. They play the part of a Christian, but they're not a Christian. Never, ever have intimate conversation with another man. No, let me tell you this, my brother and sister, before I get up from the dinner table. I know it's going to be hard for some of you to believe, but that young lady and I, we have disagreements sometimes. We do. But there's not one woman that could say she heard me come complain to her about my wife. Not one woman alive. Not even my mama. Not even my sister. They cannot say I came and blasted my wife like that and tore her down. Did not do that. I was not going to share intimate information even with my guy friend. I'm not going to share no intimate stuff between me and my wife with nobody other than Jesus. Now, if we have counseling, I'm going to a godly counsel. My wife and I will go to a godly counsel. I'm not going to go to a counselor, a secular counselor that can't do nothing but tell me how to resolve things from a worldly standpoint and tell you stupid stuff like when you get mad, say pineapples or something like that, some stupid stuff. And just give my money to a we're a secular counsel when they're not going to give me, they're not going to feed me from the word of God. They don't tell me nothing what thus says the Lord to help me with my relationship. Because see, the only man I want, the only person that could help you with a relationship to resolve it is God himself. Because God is the one that instituted and created what is called a relationship. God knows the in and out of a man and a woman. So you get godly counsel from God's word itself. I hope, brothers and sisters, that you got something out of the dinner table tonight. I hope you enjoyed the food for the soul. If you have any question or comment, you could put it down in the comment box. All you have to do is put the word wait. And when you put the word wait, make your comment or your question. If you do not, we're about to get up from the dinner table. And what you could do, you can get some of the leftover, because we got plenty. I don't want to throw this away. We got plenty of leftover. So put it in the refrigerator and share with some more family members and friends, okay? And I hope that you, brother, thank you so much for sitting at the dinner table, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember that, what I said, believe what I said, say la vie, peace out. Have a good night, brothers and sisters. Amen.